Hello and welcome to Kaiserreich. If you, by some miracles, stumble upon this video without knowing what Kaiserreich is, and you're looking at this map of Europe and you're like, what is going on? Is this 1936 without the Soviet Union? Why is, France called the Commune of France, and why is the German Empire still a thing? Just to give you the quick rundown, because I imagine most people who come to this video have played Kaiserreich before. The gist of it is Germany won World War I, which caused left-wing revolutions in France and in Britain. The Russian Civil War went to the way of the sort of status quo regime, or the sort of transitional or provisional government, rather, is what it's called, consisting of mostly liberals. So we have Alexander Kerensky here instead of, well, at this point it would be Joseph Stalin. And, you know, a bunch of stuff is going on in the world that is very different from our world. Anyways, my name is Freda, and I mostly make these kinds of videos, so hopefully I know what I'm doing. I also have a degree in history, which doesn't really serve me all that well here, because none of this is, you know, historical. We're going to be playing as Russia, because I haven't actually played as Russia before, and I think Russia's had some updates. I don't know how many. We'll probably play them again once we get another overhaul, but that's, you know, the case with every faction in Kaiserreich. Let's do the first setup stuff. Russia doesn't go to war early, but so I don't need to rush like any weapon stuff, I don't think. But I might actually end up doing it anyhow because I'll just not have anything else to research. I do want to get the artillery stuff done because that leads to new production stuff, so I want to build up production efficiency over time. I also want to get stuff like fighters done early so we can start building those. But we most importantly want electronic mechanical engineering because it gives us a research speed bonus. On to some mods. I've got some mods which might be disabled here, which is the state transfer tool. Well, actually, maybe I didn't actually have it on, but I use some mods that technically would allow you to cheat, but I don't use them to cheat. And I mostly use visual mods like these, which transform the counters, which will usually be helmets or normal NATO counters, into more detailed NATO counters, which also allows us to create some really detailed armies, because we get these, which there are a lot of. So first of all, I'm going to grab everyone, put them into armies, just so that we know how many divisions we have and where we want to like sort of split them up and stuff. Just making sure everyone is in. Cool. Okay, we have a lot of troops on the Western Front, or the Eastern Front for Europe, but our Western Front, which we want a lot of troops on, because I don't know what kind of route we're gonna go yet. I haven't really decided. I haven't tried the Soviet Union in Kaiserreich. I have tried on my own, like off camera. I've played the Vozhd, going the sort of like fascist-y route. But yeah. So we can do all these things, but I think political stabilization. I think one of these is going to get sort of done for us through an event. Navy modernization is not something we should focus on. I think what we should focus on is the intelligence agency, because that gives us a free one, and the army modernization. Also, fair warning, I have very little experience with La Resistance, the intelligence agency DLC, but I'll figure it out. Okay, so Army 1. Let's grab some like this. Make sure we don't have any tanks in it. We do. We want to take those tanks and put them in their own army, because and the motorized, I'll put them in their own army as well. The reason I do this is because I don't want tanks being a part of the line. I want tanks to be specialized troops that we use for specialized tasks. That's how you use tanks effectively, in my opinion. And that's how you use tanks effectively in real life. In fact, I think you could honestly just argue that that's how you use everything effectively in real life. Everything has its own specialized niche and role in military terms, and you have to use it in that niche, otherwise you're wasting it. Do we? No, we don't do this. In fact, we want to split these guys up. We want to have one small detachment on the border with Norway, because this border you can't fight through here if you want to invade Finland. This is apparently, Lapland is somewhere we can't go. Is that new? I think that's new. I don't think that used to be the case. Oh yeah, what? you can't go to Lapland in general. Huh. They added a bunch of new impassable terrain to the mod. Interesting. Anyways, we are going to, let's see. Yeah, we're going to send some troops up there. 6 is probably too much. There are 3 tiles, so we only need 3 of them, so let's send the rest. Kornilovsky's troops, I think. Here. Kornilovskaya might be a place, though. But I know Kornilov's a guy. We're gonna send these guys to here, purple. We're gonna give these guys names and everything as well. Motorized? Nope. We want one army or one like detachment up against the Don Kuban Union. We want one up against these guys, because the Don Kuban Union is not necessarily a part of the German Empire. They have like this deal for oil with the Germans, I believe. That and or the Azeris, the Azerbaijani. Which means that were we to fight the Germans, well, we can fight the Don Kuban Union without fighting Germany in theory. We can also end up provoking Germany by doing so, I believe. But if we're in a war with Ukraine, unless Ukraine collapses, there is a high chance that we're also at war with Germany. So we're going to make that one army. That's my rationale for that. Provided, of course, we can get a strong army on this with only one. If not, we're going to have to make 2 and split them and have one for Ukraine and one for the Baltics, including Belarus. Let's see. So this is one army. Yeah, we are probably going to have to split them. Let's make it a different color. Let's make them red, just so they stand out. And let's draw a line. Interesting that... Hold on. Is Belarus not... No, they're all part of the Reichspakt. Interesting that the line doesn't extend past Ukraine. Yeah. Huh. Oh well, that'll be fine. So those guys are moving. Let's have some of these guys. We don't need troops in the internal... in the Russian, like, interior, I don't think. Let's actually create the Don Kuban one as well. Send them over just to see if we need more. We do. Don Kuban is not a massive concern of mine. Alosh, the Alosh autonomy may break free, so we may have to have some troops on their border, and having cavalry here is actually excellent, because we're going to be using cavalry to hold this, for the most part. And we can actually be a bit tactical here, because their victory points are here, and their victory points are here. So what we can do is we can actually set the cavalry to be somewhere around here, because it's wide open. And then we can send the mountain troops over here, and then reinforce the rest with infantry, like sparse infantry. Bossing a little bit so we can let them move a little bit. Yeah, these guys are going to be in whatever army is holding the Baltics. Cool, and then we're going to need one army for Finland, I think. Let's unpause and see what's happening. Okay, let's set up our military factories before we forget it and unpause too many times. We shouldn't be making the Weltkrieg era tank anymore, there's really no need. Let's make the light tank. Let's boost production of artillery, because we're going to need a lot of artillery as well as guns. And that's probably good for now. Anything we're not making? Yeah, we need to make motorized, because we do have motorized, and we need to put motorized in our tank divisions. Don't want to look at naval stuff at the moment, because the Russian Navy lost to the Japanese Navy in 1905 and has never really been good since. Despite, I think it was Tsar Nicholas's attempts at fixing the Navy. Because, you know, every great nation needs a navy, of course. But all the people at this, or at the time of World War I, were thinking. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, we do actually, yeah, we need submarines. Cooler class. I'm just gonna keep making subs and stuff. Subs in the game are broken. I'm not gonna use them, or at least according to my Discord. You can find a link to Discord down below. But at least according to my Discord, the subs are broken. I'm not going to be using them in a sort of broken capacity, because that's just not how I play this game. I play it more in a sort of roleplay fashion, I guess. Let's not make military factories. What am I doing? Yeah, I play it more like in a roleplay fashion, where I make decisions based on the sort of path I want to take, and based on what I think the people in charge would do. You know, where the country to go down that path. No divisions in basic training. Let's finish up setting up everything before we do that. We are at 88 out of 88 on supported divisions, anyhow. But yeah, we want to set up our divisions to see how, or like what we need first. Make sure we have an army strong enough against the Japanese. Let's start creating a new theater. This will be the Russian Eastern Theater or the Siberian Theater. Actually, let's call it the Asian Theater. No, yeah. Asian Theater, and then we have these guys who are in the... So you are the Russian Interior Theater. The reason I'm doing this is because these places are going to be low focus, and I want to have them split off, and I want to have them set to reinforcement priority low. There's, like... There really is no massive strategic advantage to holding the Alash autonomy, other than protecting your underbelly and making sure you don't have anything annoying slipping up underneath there. But then again, doing so is hard as well, because there's a lot of countries here and they're very mountainous. So there really isn't much of a reason to stress it. However, what there is much of a reason to stress is Azerbaijan, with its like 150 oil or something. That's a priority pretty early on. We need rubber. We're going to trade for it with Brazil, and because I want to trade with neutrals, or people who are more likely to be neutral in general. I don't want to give more industrial capacity to, you know, any of the belligerent factions of the incoming Weltkrieg, because doing so will obviously strengthen them. Do we need mountaineers? We could use mountain troops in Norway, were we to fight there. We don't need mountain troops in Finland, even though I think mountain troops fight better in winter conditions, in harsh winter conditions, which of course there will be in Finland for a large portion of the year when we're fighting there, if we're fighting there. I'm getting ahead of myself. You guys are moving. You guys are moving. You guys are chilling. Let's put you on Belarus, I think. No, let's start setting up the Finnish one as soon as possible. Let's start marking the ones we have already. Can I not? Oh my god, I can't make a thing all over Transamur and the Fangshan government, the Japanese puppet government in Manchuria. Okay, let's call this the, actually, no, let's start naming the armies and also give them numbers. So, Army 1 is the first army. I don't think, so the Russians, the way they do, at least, you know, in the, like nowadays, they don't do, armies, they do, like, military areas, I think. So they have, like, regions, and then, like, regional military commands, I think. Which in a way, translate to different types or different armies, but yeah. This is going to be the first army, which we'll probably name at some point. We're going to use this for that, which is 4 axis, I believe, is an army, and this is like a corps. That's the first army. This is our first armored corps, which I'm just going to use this. Make it easier to distinguish. This will be our motorized, obviously. We have a have one for them. No, we do not. That's fine. We'll actually, we could just put these in the armored, because they're going to be exploiting the same sort of weaknesses. You will be the second army. gonna do this instead, since it's easier to. Like, I'm gonna fill this up with a name if I put a name in. There we go, 2nd Army, and then we have the 6th Army. Oh, not 6th Army. This is the. This is gonna be the 1st Corps. Norway. This is gonna be the 3rd Army. Which is, of course, against the Don Kuban Union. It's gonna be the Western Theater. This is how, like, most episode 1s go. You don't unpause usually in episode 1 in this game, because you have so much to do. Okay, so Army 1, you will be led by... let's see, Sergei Markov. We might want to put him in charge of tanks. A lot of these are really good. They're all, like, level 3. This guy I like. Manstein. Born Kremenchug Poltava Governorate. Okay. Turkui. Or Turkul. Don't like the meaty personality, though it's not... Well, we're probably not gonna... Oh, we're probably not gonna, like, reassign him all that much. I like this guy, though, Shaposhnikov, for our 1st Army, because our 1st Army is going to be pretty large, I think. So I'm going to put him in charge. And then, what's our field marshal here be? Field marshal, we have Anton Denikin. Was he this is the guy who tried to, or who wanted, like, a military dictatorship, isn't it? Kornilov probably wanted that as well. All these guys probably wanted, actually. Or is this the guy who wanted, like, a liberal provisional government for nationalistic reasons? Because the Tsar was incompetent. Anton Denikin chose to embrace the patriotism of the former and tied the rest of his life with the Imperial Russian Army. By the Great War, he was a major general and chief of staff in the Kiev military district. That's what we're talking about in terms of military districts. And a prolific writer who analyzed the shortcomings of the Russian army. A second in command to Lavra Kornilov, he escaped to southern Russia alongside him and helped with a volunteer army which would ultimately put an end to the Bolshevik Revolution. It was Denikin who commanded the units which seized Moscow and thus gained a great adoration among his peers. He had a proposal to transform the Russian army into a people's army via mass mobilization and modernization of recruitment. Politics are the last thing on his mind, but should he end up in power one way or another, Denikin's experience in the Russian chief of staff will lead to him commanding the nation like he used to command his regiment. Okay, well, thorough planner, organizer. We have here Rangel with war hero, offensive doctrine, and charismatic. Like that. And here we have offensive doctrine and just some other stuff that just helps us in gaining... those offset each other, which is really good. This guy's really aggressive. But I think, honestly, we're just going to put Denikin in charge. Troubled history. The February Revolution put an end to centuries of Tsarist despotism, but its achievements were on the verge of being undone. In October 1917, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, stormed the Winter Palace and seized control of Russia, declaring the world's first revolutionary socialist state, Soviet Russia. A wide front of monarchists, republicans, moderate socialists, and foreign interventionists rose up against it. I'm assuming the Republicans are the liberals, because they are an important faction in the Russian turmoil. The Bolshevik Revolution was stillborn. In September of 1918, Lenin was assassinated by Fanny Kaplan, a disgruntled left SR, left socialist revolutionary, meaning that that's one of the parties. And the Bolshevik cause began to disintegrate. This, combined with the German supplies provided to the White movement throughout the Civil War, meant that by 1920, the revolution was successfully suppressed. In 1922, the White generals dictated a constitution for the new Russian Republic, which, albeit democratic, was riddled with issues and did not satisfy everyone. Hoping that he would prove to be a weak figurehead, the Whites pushed forward Alexander Kerensky, the leader of the provisional government before the October coup, as the first president of the Russian Republic. Kerensky would prove to be capable. However, as he survived the 1925 Kolchak Putsch and implemented the new economic policy, that's also one of Vladimir Lenin's policies, the new economic policy, or is it a new economic plan? I just know the abbreviation NEP. To restore economic growth, and has governed the country for the past 15 years. A lack of serious political opposition and widespread electoral manipulation have certainly helped his longevity as well. By 1936, however, President Kerensky has eroded the last of his allies in the government, and the new economic policy is no longer yielding any dividends. Nationalists see him kowtow to Germans. Democrats believe he is turning into a dictator, and socialists simply want the entire system gone. All of them share one belief, however, that Russia still has potential to assert its power in the world. The Russian constitution, the scar of the fractured white... I'm not going to read all this, I don't think. It's an updated of the Tsar's constitution of 1906. The upper house of the parliament, the Senate, is the main example of its authoritarian heritage. It is an unelected institution composed of senior statesmen and delegates from upper strata, such as aristocrats, university professors, and business associations. Sounds kind of like the German Empire, honestly, or like the Prussian democracy. The lower house, the State Duma, is selected and holds most of the legislative power in the country. The presence of the unelected Senate curbs the democratic process in the country, however. The president is elected by the Senate, but many of his powers and duties are styled after the position of Tsar in the 1906 constitution. Therefore, he holds significant executive power and appoints the Council of Ministers with the approval of both legislative houses. The president is a primary actor in executing legislative acts and represents the Republic in foreign affairs. He also has access to the infamous Article 48 of the Constitution, which allows the president to take emergency actions without the approval of the Duma. President Alexander Kerensky has grown fond of using his power to bypass the increasingly fractured legislature and thus pass decrees and laws. Rap God. Drafted under the guidance of the White Generals, the Constitution can only call itself a protector of democracy when its articles are not used against it. Oh my god, please. No, stop. I'm sorry. I can't spend the entire episode unpaused. Pause. I need to unpause just so that one comment that shows up every time where it's like, please, you didn't even unpause, doesn't show up. But now it will, because I mentioned it. The assassination of Alexander Kerensky, who could have seen this coming? The sound of gunfire rings across the capital. Alexander Kerensky, the president of the Russian Republic, was shot and killed by an assassin while he was climbing the steps of the Senate House. His killer was shot dead by the military police before he could make his escape. His motives will forever be unknown. Regardless, the fate of Russia has been irrevocably changed. Political unrest, yes. Yes, Kerensky is dead. We still need generals, though. Let's get the tank. There we go, motorized corps. First, yeah, let's just call it motorized corps. That still works for tanks as well, in a sense. We have a bunch of good tank commanders, like Vasilevsky. Though we don't need planning for a tank commander, because I don't really use planning. This guy is also good, Stefan, because you can just shape him however you want. He doesn't have all of his slots taken up already. But I'm gonna slap on I think Sergei Markov. Promotion cost down, which makes him a good field marshal for our tanks once we have like a lot of tanks, or if we have a lot of tanks, you know, knock on wood, inshallah. Let's see, this is the Mongolian army, or the sort of interior army. Let's just call it the Third Army. Interior. And give it the number 3. And give it a color that stands out. Let's give it green. Bright, horrible, gaudy green. And attack and planning is good. This guy, Vladimir Kapel, is going to be our Finland boy. We're going to put, not Pavel, probably. Pavel is going to be in charge of the cavalry in this region. We're going to put you, Vladimir Manstein, because of the commando out of supply, which is going to be a thing in the interior. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Put Wrangel in charge. And then let's do one of these. Can we extend it? We cannot. Oh well. And the mountain troops will be commanded by... I don't think we have any mountain lords, any mountain commanders here. We're gonna just grab one of the winter specialists and put him under Wrangle, and then we have... This is the Mountain Corps, the first Mountain Corps. Should have done this instead of just that, but that's fine. First Mountain Corps, and then we have... Trust me, this is all going to pay off, because it's going to be so much easier to know what's going on everywhere. I know a lot of people don't actually... Oh, this is good. I like this guy for a defensive guy, but I don't know. I don't like his mustache. I don't know where I'm going to put him either. Mikhail Drozdovsky, you're going to be in charge of the second army. And then we have... this is also possibly all going to not matter all that much, depending on what we do in terms of the the Russian Revolution. That is good. We have enough troops. We now need a Ukrainian army. So this is going to be the 4th army. Oh, hold on, no. This is the 4th army. 4th army is the interior. This is the 5th army. And it will be commanded by... Sure. Romanovsky. I like the artillery specialist. And you are going to be under Army Group 1. Which we're going to be calling... Military District West. And this is Military District... Military District... Interior. And then we have Military District South over here. Once we potentially go into Turkey and Persia. And then we have Military District East, which is all of this. So this is going to be interior, which we're just going to use, in terms of letters, we're going to use I. West, we're going to use the W, of course. Second army here is going to be in the west, of course. First Corps is going to be west. And third army, we're going to put him in the west for now. Because we need one for the east. Under the command of Lavr Kornilov. This is going to be the 6th army. And you will be the 1st Cavalry Corps, and you are under the command of Pavel Shatilov. The aftermath of the assassination, hold on. It's technically not the correct one, but we don't have a pure cavalry marker. I think this means partisans. Let's see. Server rights on the Legislation Council. Yeah, we vote on the League of Nations managed cities in Asia, which are basically just like they're basically corporate run cities. Market liberals. The aftermath of the assassination of Kerensky. Kerensky may have been hated by many, but it was only when he died that it became clear how much Russia needed him. Coalition between cadets and socialist revolutionaries has begun to dissolve immediately. Kerensky's right-hand man, Viktor Chernov, who had usually handled the nitty-gritty of coalition building while the president acted as a public face of the party, has suddenly found his job to be a lot harder. By the way, if you want to get some backstory and all this stuff, I recommend the podcast Revolutions. It's on Spotify. I don't remember the host's name anymore, but it's really good. All while the right-wing forces in the Senate and Duma coalesce and gather their forces, their soon-to-be savior's Grand Duke Dmitry, who has all the material to be a fine president in their eyes. Chernov's only hope is that the left opposition, the Mensheviks and radical socialists, represented by Irakli Tsereteli, Irakli Tsereteli, and Alexander Shlyapnikov, will put rivalries aside and join forces with the hated SRs and cadets. Anti-democratic forces plot in the shadows too. Pyotr Vrangel and the Black Baron and Field Marshal Laver Kornilov have independently drawn their plans on seizing control on the state for this exact occasion. They have no reason to play ball with the parliamentarians in Moscow now that Kerensky is gone after all. Whatever may be the outcome of the January crisis, it is bound to leave a lasting impact on Russian history. So, what do we do here? I'm going to leave this up to a vote. I'm going to release this episode before I record the next one, and I'm going to leave it up to you. What happens? Kornilov storms Moscow, and the streets run red with blood. Baron Wrangel establishes martial law and strong arms at Duma in a bloodless putsch. Chernov's coalition falls, the parliamentary right elects Dmitry Romanov, or the Mensheviks and socialists agree to a coalition of the plural left. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to say this in detail in the first episode because it's where most people will hear this. If you're looking for any sort of information, where to download the mod, etc., if you're looking for my Discord, my Twitter, my Twitch, or a live stream, mostly RimWorld I think I'm going to be streaming, and if you're looking for my Patreon where you can support me, you can find all of that in the description down below. I think that's all I need to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.